Picture this. You wake up in the morning without an alarm clock. You no longer have to go to work for a nagging boss. And you're finally living the life you want, prioritizing what's truly important to you. Well, know that all this isn't just fantasy. It can become reality when your money starts multiplying on its own and working harder than you do for it. We all dream of that moment, the point where our money no longer depends entirely on our time, our energy, or our daily grind. But most people never really notice when it happens. It sneaks up slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. And yet, that moment exists. And once you reach it, nothing about your financial life will ever feel the same again. You put in the work, you save what you can, you invest when you're able to, and you stay disciplined. But for years, it feels like you're stuck in place. You check your accounts and see a few hundred more, maybe 1,000 here and there, but it never feels like a breakthrough. You're still waking up early, still working the same job, still watching your paycheck disappear into bills, rent, groceries, and life. You keep wondering, when is it finally going to change? When will all this effort start to matter? The truth is, it's already starting. You just can't see it yet. That's what makes it so mysterious. The beginning of wealth doesn't look dramatic. It looks painfully slow. It looks ordinary. It looks like nothing is happening. But behind the scenes, something powerful is taking shape. And it could be sooner than you expect. So stay until the end to understand when it will happen to you. Leave a like and let's start. This invisible process is what makes people give up too soon. They work, save, invest, and expect instant results. When they don't see them, they stop. They convince themselves it doesn't work, that maybe the whole idea of compounding and long-term wealth is just a fantasy made for other people. But they're wrong, because the real magic of wealth doesn't show itself until it starts growing by itself. It's like planting a tree. For years, all you see is a small stem barely growing. You water it, protect it, wait for it, but it looks fragile and slow. Then suddenly, one year, it takes off. It grows taller, stronger, faster than ever before. And once that happens, it doesn't need you as much anymore. It keeps growing with its own strength, drawing power from everything it's already built. That's exactly what happens to your money when it reaches the point of true independence. You see, in the early stages, your wealth grows mostly because of you. Every extra dollar in your account comes from your effort, your job, your savings, your discipline. That's why it feels so slow. But at a certain point, something changes. The money you've saved and invested starts to create its own growth. It begins to earn money for you, and then that new money earns even more. Each gain produces another and another, like a chain reaction that gets faster and stronger over time. And think about if you could give it more money for growth, how powerful it could be. And well, that's possible if you open your Faceless Money Mindset channel, since Money Mindset is on easy mode now. And I can help you directly if you join my free Telegram community with the link below. This moment, when your money begins to work harder than you do, is when wealth starts to feel real. But here's the secret most people don't realize. It doesn't announce itself. There's no alert on your phone that says, "Congratulations, your money has started growing on its own." It just happens quietly, and if you're not paying attention, you might miss it. So, what is this tipping point? When does your money actually start to grow faster than your effort? It's simple. It's the moment your investments earn more in a year than you do from your job. Imagine this. You make $50,000 a year. One day, your investments make $50,000 in that same time. No overtime, no side hustle, no extra shifts. Just your money quietly generating the same income you worked all year for. That's the moment your money stops crawling and starts running. That's the moment it begins to grow on its own. And to get there, you don't need millions. The numbers are smaller than you think. If your portfolio reaches around $500,000 and you're earning an average 10% annual return, that's $50,000. You've hit the match. You've reached the point where your money equals your job. And from that moment on, you've crossed into a new phase of wealth, one that no longer depends on how many hours you work, but on how long you stay consistent. Now, think about what that really means. For years, your job has been your only engine. You trade your time for money. You wait for your paycheck and repeat. But when your portfolio reaches this tipping point, it becomes your second job. Only this job doesn't require you to show up. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't complain. It just compounds day after day, night after night, building more wealth out of the wealth you already have. Most people don't recognize this power because they expect progress to be visible every month. But compounding doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows in a curve. At first, it's barely noticeable. Then, all at once, it starts accelerating. The same way a plane feels like it's barely moving before takeoff, then suddenly lifts off the ground and soars. Your money will one day hit that same kind of lift. That's when everything changes. But here's the hard truth. Very few people reach that point, not because they can't, but because they stop too soon. They get impatient. They pull their money out after a small dip in the market. They convince themselves it's not working, and they destroy years of progress right before the curve starts to rise. The wealthiest people in the world aren't the smartest or the luckiest. They're the ones who stayed in the game long enough to reach the stage where their money began working alone. You might be wondering, but how do I know when I'm close? You'll feel it not through excitement, but through calm. You'll stop worrying about every little market move. You'll realize that even if your investments drop a little, they recover faster than before. You'll see that your money doesn't need constant supervision. It's learned to grow without your help. That's when you'll start noticing the difference between income you earn and income you own. Earned income is noisy. It comes from your labor, your schedule, your hours. You see it hit your account every couple of weeks. It's predictable but limited. Owned income, the kind your investments generate, is quiet. It's invisible until you check your balance and see how much it's grown. It's not guaranteed every month, but over time it becomes far more powerful, especially if you feed it with more money earned through money mindset. When you rely only on earned income, every dollar depends on your energy. But when you build owned income, your energy becomes optional. You've built a system that can survive and thrive without you constantly feeding it. To make this clearer, imagine two people again. One saves and spends, always depending on the next paycheck. The other invests and waits. After a few years, the second person's money begins earning small returns. They seem insignificant at first, maybe a few hundred, but then those dollars start earning their own returns. Before long, that quiet income surpasses the active income. The investor is no longer chasing money. Money is chasing them. That's the moment you want to reach. That's when your money finally breaks free from your effort and starts multiplying by itself. And once it happens, there's no going back. You'll realize that true wealth isn't about how much money you make, but about how much money you control that no longer needs your work to grow. So, if you're still in that early, frustrating stage where every month feels the same, remember this. You're not stuck. You're building momentum. You're still pushing the snowball uphill. And even if you can't see it yet, every push matters. Because the day will come when that snowball crests the hill and starts rolling on its own, faster and faster, until it's unstoppable. That's the day your money stops relying on you and starts creating freedom for you. That's the day you'll finally understand what it means when people say money works for you. Because for the first time, it actually will. Once your money starts growing on its own, something inside you shifts. You start to see the world differently. You stop thinking about money as something you have to chase and start realizing it's something you can build systems for. You understand that true wealth doesn't scream for attention, it works in silence. It doesn't ask for your time. It doesn't need your permission. It just keeps expanding, one quiet day after another. At this stage, everything you've done, all the years of saving, investing, staying patient, finally begins to make sense. You realize the struggle wasn't in vain. Every dollar you put aside, every night you resisted the temptation to spend, every time you invested when it felt boring or pointless, it was all leading here. Because now, that money isn't just sitting still. It's moving, multiplying, and growing even while you're asleep. It has become a living thing, a machine that no longer depends on you. The difference between those who reach this point and those who don't is never intelligence. It's patience. It's the willingness to stay consistent long enough to let compounding reveal its true face. Because compounding always starts slow. It's sneaky. It hides its power until you've proven you deserve to see it. But once it starts moving, once it reaches that self-sustaining momentum, it's like a snowball turning into an avalanche. At first, your portfolio might make $2,000 in a year, then $5,000, then $10,000. Then suddenly you blink and it's making $40,000, $60,000, $100,000 a year. You can't even pinpoint when it happened, but you can feel it. The numbers start to grow faster than you can mentally keep up with. What used to take a year might now happen in a few months. The curve steepens, and that's when you realize your money is no longer dependent on your effort. It's officially working alone. And when that happens, everything about your relationship with work changes. You stop chasing overtime. You stop begging for small raises. You stop saying yes to every project out of fear, because you finally know your life doesn't rely entirely on your paycheck anymore. You've built a second source of income that works 24 hours a day without needing sleep or food or motivation. It doesn't burn out. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't complain. It just keeps compounding. This is what the wealthy have understood all along. They don't make money by working harder than everyone else. They make money by owning things that work when they don't. They own systems. They own investments. They own time. And when your money begins to grow on its own, you're no longer an outsider looking in. You've joined that quiet group of people who understand that the game of money is not about effort. It's about patience, ownership, and leverage. The most fascinating thing about this stage is how calm it feels. It's not like winning the lottery. It's not a sudden rush or explosion of emotion. It's a quiet confidence, a deep peace that comes from knowing your financial future no longer depends on constant hustle. You can slow down, take a breath, make better decisions. You can choose work you actually enjoy, not just work that pays the bills. You start living life on your terms, not on the schedule of a paycheck. And the best part? The process doesn't stop there. When your money begins to grow by itself, it doesn't grow linearly. It accelerates. It doubles, then doubles again, and then doubles faster. That's the true nature of exponential growth. Let's take an example. Imagine your portfolio has reached $500,000 and it grows 10% in a year. That's $50,000 already, matching an average salary. But in 7 years, that same portfolio, if left untouched, becomes $1 million. Now it's earning $100,000 a year without you working for it. 7 years after that, it's $2 million. Then, $4 million. The line starts to curve so sharply upward that it no longer looks like growth. It looks like escape velocity. Your money has officially broken free from gravity. That's when wealth becomes something beyond numbers. It becomes freedom. Because at that level, you realize you're no longer working for money. Money is working for your future. It's protecting your family. It's creating choices. It's buying you time. And time, more than anything else, is the real currency of wealth. This is why people who truly understand compounding never panic when markets drop. They don't see a temporary dip as a threat. They see it as an opportunity. They know that their wealth doesn't need to be constantly managed or micromanaged. It grows naturally because the foundation has already been built. It's like planting a forest. A single storm can knock down a few branches, but it can't stop the forest from expanding. So, when you reach this phase, your focus changes completely. You stop thinking about how much you can save and start thinking about how much you can protect and grow. You start asking smarter questions. How can I let my money compound safely? How can I reinvest without emotional decisions? How can I let time and patience do the heavy lifting? How can I earn more with money mindset by joining the community below? That's the real evolution. Because most people spend their lives trying to earn more. But those who reach financial independence focus on earning smarter. They let their capital do the talking. They no longer rely on their boss, the economy, or even luck. They rely on the mathematical certainty of compounding over time. And when you understand that, you realize that financial freedom isn't a distant dream. It's a phase of patience. You just have to stay long enough to let your money take over. Now, let's make it visual. Think of a snowball rolling down a hill again. In the beginning, you had to push it. It was small, fragile, easy to stop. That was your saving phase. Then, as it grew heavier, it started rolling by itself. That's when your investments reached critical mass. But as it keeps rolling, it becomes so big, so fast, so powerful that not even you could stop it if you tried. That's compounding in its purest form. The moment when wealth grows automatically, not because you're adding to it, but because it has built enough momentum to feed on itself. And when your wealth reaches that point, it's not just financial independence, it's emotional independence. You stop worrying about the next bill, the next month, or even the next year because you know your money has reached self-sufficiency. It's like a well that keeps refilling faster than you can drink from it. You don't have to panic about running out anymore. You've crossed the line from working for survival to living with abundance. But here's what's truly poetic about all of this. The moment your money starts growing on its own doesn't just change your bank balance. It changes who you are. It changes your mindset, your patience, your goals. You start thinking long-term, not just about what to buy next, but about what to build next. You start wanting to create, not consume. You realize the power you now hold isn't just to make your life easier, but to make your life meaningful. Because once your money grows without you, you can finally ask the bigger questions. What do I actually want to do with my time? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? What problems can I solve now that money isn't one of them? And that's the true beauty of this journey. It's not about escaping work. It's about choosing it freely. It's about having the power to say no, the power to rest, the power to build something that matters. Most people spend their whole lives hoping to make enough money to stop worrying. But the truth is, peace doesn't come when you make enough. It comes when your money makes enough for you. So if you're still in that phase where progress feels invisible, remember, every great curve starts flat. The most powerful growth in nature always begins quietly. Seeds don't explode into trees overnight. Snowballs don't start as avalanches. But if you stay consistent, if you stay patient, one day you'll wake up and realize that your money doesn't need your push anymore. It's rolling. It's growing. It's alive. And that's when everything changes. That's when you look at your portfolio, your life, your freedom, and finally understand what people mean when they say, make your money work for you. Because now it truly is. And from that moment on, your only job is to protect it, nurture it, and let it keep doing what it was always meant to do. Grow. Your wealth will continue to expand. Even if you take a step back, it will keep compounding even when you rest. And the best part is, you'll finally know what it feels like to have time. Real time. The kind that belongs entirely to you. Because that's the moment your money stops being your burden and becomes your freedom. Like the freedom you will achieve with money mindset. Think about it. If you've made it this far in the video, it means what I'm explaining to you in my free Telegram community works, right? So join with the link below and let me know if you already knew this in the comments. Subscribe to this channel and see you soon. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for educational purposes only, and any results depend on your own decisions and actions.